All right, guys, I rolled out my slabs, cut a piece to trace from, traced it twice for the top and the bottom, or the front and the back of the house. These two long pieces right here are going to be my sides of my house. And the only thing I have left to cut is the bottom of my house. But I'm going to show you how we're going to attach them, what angles we need to make for the pitch of the roof. So I'm going to show you that in just a minute. All right, guys, on to the next step. So I have cleaned all of my slabs and cut all of my sides. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut my 45-degree angle for the peak of the roof. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 45-degree angle cutter, and I am going to lay it down on the ground. I'm going to turn it this way so the big flat part sits down, and I'm going to drag it all the way across the edge. It's going to give me a 45-degree angle right here. I'm going to do that twice. Then I'm going to take my side and I'm going to stand it up, line it up right with the edge of my clay. So it's got to come all the way to the very edge. I don't want any gap or any difference in level. So I'm going to just stand it. These are not leather hard yet. They're between a really soft slab and leather hard. It is called a stiff slab. I'm taking the second one and I'm doing the same process, using light pressure just to kind of sit it where it needs to go, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to score and slip it to attach it in just a minute. Then I'll need to trim off the ends, because if you can see, I'm gonna flip this. Okay, if you can see, I still have a little bit left on the ends. So I'm gonna trim that down and put one more cross, and it's gonna go right here along the edge. I'm gonna clean it all up, and then I will score and slip the top portion on, making sure that this is at a stiff slab stage, not soft. Otherwise, it will start to cave in right here, and we don't want that to happen. All right, I have attached my wall to the front of my house currently. I need to make sure it's in complete alignment, but I have scored and slipped all of it together. And then next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my ID card and I'm gonna move up and across and up and across to make sure that I can't see where I joined those two pieces together. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I have scored and slipped all of the sides on. I have cleaned all of the sides preliminary. I have to fix this area right here. I'm going to score and slip along here and on the back side of here to attach those two pieces together. Remember, they must be in stiff slab form. Too soft and it will buckle on the inside. Okay, this is day 2. I have set it up. This will probably be your day 3. I'm going to come back in and check to make sure it's all smooth, and I'm going to attach my roof and my chimney in just a little bit, and then cut my windows. I want this to be a stiff slab at this point. So I took a regular 1/4 inch slab and I rolled it a lot thinner, because I'm going to use this as my roof, and I already have a roof on there, but I want this to have texture. And I'm going to take my texture roller and a fair amount of pressure and roll, and that's going to cause my clay to have this beautiful texture in it. Okay, so I texture rollered my small piece to make my chimney, and I realized while making it that I need to take my texture print and face it face down and do a bevel cut on the back side. And I'm gonna do that for the walls of it too. So currently, I have one side of it done. It's making an L bracket. Haven't cleaned it up yet, but we're making an L bracket. And we'll make another L bracket on the other side, and there will be my chimney. Either your roof or your chimney has to have texture on it. All right, guys, I have attached my textured chimney. Remember, you can texture either the roof or the chimney. And I have scored and slipped it. I built a little slab box. It comes out the top. Next, I'm going to carve the windows and the door. Okay, the next step, I cut out little tiny pieces left over from my scrap, and I arranged them, played around with the spacing where I wanted them to be, and I'm gonna use them and I'm gonna trace them, cut out the shapes so I can have my windows. Okay, I have traced and cut out 2 of my shapes. This is my 3rd one. Once I cut the shape out, I push it down with my rake, and then I tip it to the side. And I don't know if you guys ever played the game Operation. It was definitely a game of the 80s and 90s. And then I remove my shape like that. My next step is to get in here and clean it. I'm gonna use my finger initially to kind of just brush and get some of the little bit of clay off. Then I'm gonna come back through, I'll take my ID card and clean it. And then I'll take my finger again, a little bit of a sponge, not a lot of sponge, and the sponge barely has any water on it. We don't want to get it too wet. And then I'll come back in finally with my little eraser tool. I also used a small eraser tool. Again, you guys can borrow that from me. Just need to make sure you return it so other people can use it. And I'll clean it until everything looks exactly like I want it to. And I'll decide whether or not I want a door. I don't have to have a door if I don't want to. It just depends. All right, last thing I did was I stood it up. Made sure I could look inside, made sure I didn't see anything that was distracting. Here's my cute little house. Haven't decided yet if I'm gonna put a door on there. If I do, it's gonna be a long, skinny door.